Ladies, and welcome back to another edition of Menopause Made Easy with Tanya, the place where we connect the dots between hormones, health, and happiness during midlife and beyond. And today's episode is something you might not have thought about before, but it's something that occurred to me about 5 years ago. And I was like, why do I keep gaining weight in the summer? I was kind of like watching my trend, and it wasn't a huge, it was just a little bit. But I was like, there's got to be something to this. So I dug deeper into this and I found out why. And I'm going to share it with you today. Why we gain weight in the summertime and the power of eating with the seasons. This is part of my Sunday bonus editions because I have been, oh my gosh, I just have so much information in my head to share with all of you that I have taped so many episodes into the future where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got to talk about this stuff now and plant some seeds, because September is a very energetic, shifting month where we're looking for a change. And many of us are like, oh, I'm putting on my pants. I feel a little tight. Oh my goodness, what can I do? And I would love it if this year you would not just hop on the next diet, but instead find your rhythm, your flow, what parts of diets work for you. And we're going to talk about two people today, again, just to show you, which I've been doing each week, the flexible person and the rigid person. And I'm also my midlife reboot early bird special is now open. You can go to vibrantlivingwithtanya.com/midlife reboot and check out the early bird specials. If you apply now, you get 50% off my program. You get a 45-minute session with me, and you get 3 months access to my Vibrant Living Academy, which is packed full of classes, like fitness classes. I just got off. We did an Improve Your Vision class. We do everything in there. Muscle mania, hands and feet, HIIT, rolling, strength training, just everything you name it is in there. 5 years worth of classes. We do mindset coaching classes, which are in there. I talk about nutrition. And then the Midlife Reboot program is when we spend the next 12 weeks together. You have access to all of this information through a portal. And then every Tuesday night at 7:30, you jump on live with me on Zoom and we get into you. And you can ask me questions. How do things go? We can use it as educational time. But it's really about, you are just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I'm giving you a container. I'm giving you a plan. I'm giving you a container to help you finally get into the groove and the flow of awesome journey through menopause and beyond. So I would recommend that this is for anybody in their 40s into their 90s, anywhere along there. And it's a great supportive community. So pop in, ask me any questions, but check out the Midlife Reboot special. Or yes, not the special, the early bird special, I should say. Okay, so let's dive into why we tend to gain weight in the summer and why the way we eat fruit. I'm not demonizing fruit, everybody. I have no problems eating fruit, okay? But let's just hear this out because it's good to be open and curious, right? Why fruit might be messing with our metabolisms, fat storage, energy, and even our sleep. And when I dive through this, you will begin to get some insights. We'll explore why our ancestors were biologically programmed to gain weight or fat. Again, I like to say fat. And oh gosh, I've done so many episodes. Okay, Tanya, stay focused. Why we gain fat in the summer, how eating the wrong foods at the wrong time of year can mess with your body's natural rhythms, and how you can start eating in sync with nature. And I'm going to talk about Canada. I live in Ontario, so I'm really going to focus this on climates that are warm in the summer, have a spring and a fall, and are cold in the winter. And I'm going to give you a meal plan and some ideas here so that you can support your metabolism, your mitochondria, and your mood. And of course, your fat. And I will compare two women, one who eats in rhythm with the seasons and one who's stuck in a permanent summer diet, which is where a lot of us are. So let's dive in. Why we typically gain weight in the summer. Have you ever noticed that summer is often the time we start gaining weight, not losing it? It might seem counterintuitive. After all, we're outside, we're sweating, we're moving, we're in our bikinis, the yellow polka dot bikini, but there's something deeper going on. And now let's look at the evolutionary biology. Our ancestors evolved without grocery stores or year-round strawberries. In the summertime, nature offered berries, fruit, sweet vegetables, and sunlight. And these high sugar foods were signals to the body. What kind of signals, you ask? Well, let me tell you. The signal was store fat now because winter is coming. All right, you see the chipmunks and the squirrels out there and the bears. They are eating all of nature's bounty and they are storing up for hibernating in the winter. And our bodies are biologically wired to gain fat in the summer months. More sugar, more carbs, longer days, more light, and all of this told the body to prepare for colder months ahead with less food. And fat storage was not the enemy. Fat is not the enemy. We need fat on our body. It was survival. The problem is that we just have too much food all the time in the wrong seasons. We're not moving the way we should be. Tanya, get focused. Back on track here. The sugar fruit connection. Summer fruits, which are fabulous, okay, are rich in fructose, and that sugar triggers a rise in insulin and fat-storing hormones like leptin and cortisol. In ancestral times, this was great. This was fantastic, okay? But today, we have 24/7 access to summer foods like bananas in January, mango smoothies in February, berries flown in from across the globe from October till May, right? And our bodies, they're still reacting like it's August. And what does that mean? Okay, that means that we are in a perpetual fat storage mode, even in winter, because we're eating out of season. Sorry, I get so excited. I know I'm trying to really calm my voice down when I'm talking in my podcast, but I'm such an excitable I'm a little girl. I'm a little girl inside my postmenopausal body, everybody. And I'm jumping for joy. Food contains light information. Now let's talk about quantum biology for a moment. This is fascinating. Like I said, I have been taking quantum biology courses. I have been reading about quantum biology. I've been going into bioprotons, I think. Oh my God, it's so exciting. So exciting what I'm learning. And I will eventually share that with you. And this is stuff I'm talking about in my midlife reboot and my coaching and in my classes. Because you guys get the inside scoop in there way before I'm talking about this stuff on my podcast. Now, there's a link between quantum biology, okay, because food carries light information. And this blew my mind, everybody. Every plant absorbs light from the sun in its specific season and stores that energy in the food. So when you eat a strawberry in June in Canada, it carries local summer light. Now go back and when we were growing up, I'm going to go back to the 70s and 80s, when there wasn't the same, like I don't even remember if I remember if any fruit I was eating, it was canned peaches or canned mandarin oranges, which aren't that great, but anyway, there was no berries in January in my little town growing up. Okay, this is not necessarily a good thing, right? So I'm going to talk about, I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but really eating in season, this macrobiotic. Is that what we call it? I can't remember right now. Anyway, the eating in seasons. So we're putting summer light into a winter body if we're eating that strawberry in January. Strawberries are amazing right now. Okay, I'm taping this in at the beginning of July. Strawberries are amazing. Eat the strawberries. There's some blueberries. Eat the blueberries, the raspberries. Eat those berries. They're here. They're at the farmers market. They're from Canada. Like, eat them up. They're carrying this beautiful light. And your mitochondria, oh gosh, I'm getting so excited again. Sorry. Your mitochondria, which I've done plenty of episodes, are your energy producers. And they get confused. They're like, what's going on when you eat a strawberry in January? Right? They're like, what's going on here? And we don't feel this at a like a bigger level. It's all these subtle little things inside our body. And your circadian rhythm, remember, every cell has a clock in it. Your circadian rhythm is thrown off, and your body thinks it's summer all the time, even when it's 10 degrees, or sorry, -10 outside and pitch black dark at 5 o'clock. Okay, so when we're eating this summer fruit in the winter, this mismatch leads to increased fat storage, decreased metabolic flexibility, mitochondrial dysfunction, poor sleep, low energy. And it's when you really start, I've talked about this in so many of my episodes, but awareness, awareness, awareness. And until you really, really become so super aware at a subtle level, all of this stuff, it can be hard to put together. And this is why I teach this stuff and love doing my midlife reboot and private coaching. Eating fruit in January might seem harmless, but it could be triggering your body to store fat and slow down your metabolism. We want to eat in season. What is a better way? Here in Canada, we have 4 distinct seasons. Again, this is, everybody, again, if you're listening to this and you live somewhere else, you have 4 seasons, but ours are a little more drastic. And same with Northwest United States and, places in Europe. But anyway, I'm going to stay in Canada because that's where I live. And our bodies thrive when we eat in sync with them. So wherever you are, you have seasons. Start to eat in sync with those seasons. So in winter, we have root vegetables like carrots, squash, beets. We have animal fats and proteins, grass-fed meats and bone broths. We have fermented food, sauerkraut and kimchi. We have warm, grounding meals. In the springtime, okay, the last thing you want to start eating, you know how the weather starts to get warmer and you're like, I don't want roast beef and mashed potatoes and stew. I'd like some light greens, maybe some arugula, those cold water things that are starting to come, cold weather, I should say, cold weather things that are starting to come out of the ground. Some detox-friendly foods like parsley and radishes. My goodness, there's an abundance of radishes in the fall, in the springtime. Spinach, dandelion, eggs, seasonal fish. Okay, and in the summer, oh my gosh, we're like, give me the blueberries, bring on the cucumber, the tomatoes, the zucchini, fresh herbs, lean proteins, focus more on some raw food or lightly steamed food. Yes, please give me that salad. I don't want a big, heavy meal right now. I'm light, I'm in summer. And then fall starts to approach and we start to have apples and pears and pumpkin and squash and warming spices like cinnamon and ginger. And eating this way tells your body, oh, I'm in sync with nature. And it supports our mitochondria. It helps to regulate fat storage, and it improves our sleep, our energy, and our mood. Now, here's 2 women with 2 rhythms. Lisa and Karen again. Lisa and Karen again. I like using their names every week. Lisa lives in Ontario. It's summertime. She enjoys berries and fresh greens and lighter meals. And as fall comes, she shifts for spinach and apples and roasted roots. And then winter is all about those warming stews and local meats and fermented vegetables. And Lisa's body, on a very subtle, energetic level, okay, responds with subtle or stable weight, balanced energy, deep sleep, which is what we want for restoration, resilient immunity, hormone harmony. And her mitochondria, remember those powerhouses in your cell, are getting consistent messages from her body and light environment. Everything is aligned. Karen, on the other hand, is stuck on a summer diet, which I was totally stuck in a summer diet. Okay. So I was here. I was a Karen for a while. Karen eats like it's summer all year long with maybe some winter sprinklings, but by goodness, she's going to eat that salad in November, even if she doesn't feel like it. Okay. She's got the smoothie bowls in January, even though she's shivering. Okay. And it's just, she can feel that it's not the right thing to do in her body, but she's going to eat those smoothie bowls in January. Yeah, that was me. She's gonna have salads for dinner in February. Yeah, even though I'm like, ugh. And we're gonna eat. She's gonna eat bananas every day, tropical fruit, cold drinks, even in the dark of winter. And I can absolutely say this is what I did because I was so out of rhythm with my body. And I thought, whoa, they sell blueberries in January, why not eat the blueberries? Okay. And so I've been retraining myself over the years to eat the food that's in season. I was going to go off on a tangent, but I'm going to stay focused. Karen's body is confused. Her mitochondria think it's July, even though it's January, and the light and temperature say otherwise. So she's eating summer food in January. It's confusing her. It's not consistent with the light and the temperature outside. And so she's experiencing some fat gain, especially around the belly, trouble sleeping, cravings, afternoon crashes, hormonal imbalances. And it's not because she's doing something wrong, because we don't think it's wrong. We've been told to eat fruits and vegetables all year round, and it's in the store, so you should eat them. But it's absolutely out of sync with her light environment, her seasonal environment, and her subtle energy in her body that is responding to the messages of her environment. All right. So, how do we start to eat in season? So, I'm going to put this as part of my show notes. So, you don't have to write this down. You can just go and get it. But there are 5 simple ways to get started. Shop local. Farmers markets are seasonal by design. That is why we do not have a farmers market in January here, because there's nothing growing. So shop local, be part of a CSA, have a garden, eat the things now that are in season and let go of the things that are not in season. Sounds simple, can be challenging to do because we have emotional connections to food. Anyway, eat what grows around you. And if it doesn't grow in your climate this time of year, eat less of it. So bananas don't grow in Canada. All right. So if you like bananas, start to eat less of them and bring in some foods that are local, like some apples and pears, and even some peaches and nectarines. Match your meals to the weather. Warm, cooked foods in winter, light, raw, or lightly steamed foods in the summer. Preserve your summer produce for winter with fermentation or freezing. So this is your local food. So instead of buying green beans from Mexico in December, okay, perhaps you took some from your garden and you can add it to your stews that has your light information from your environment. And observe your cravings. You may crave citrus in the winter for vitamin C, for some extra vitamin C, but balance it with warming foods. This is why I was saying, I don't want you to go on a diet. I really want you to listen. Your body is telling you things, but you need to listen and shut out people saying you must do this diet. Okay? You do the diet that works for you, but be honest with yourself about your signs and symptoms. Our modern world is really disconnected. Okay? It has really disconnected us from our natural rhythms in our body. But your body remembers. Remember, this is what I told you. We are living 10,000 years ago. We have not caught up to present day. We have an evolutionary mismatch here. Eating fruit is not the problem, but eating fruit out of season, under blue artificial light, while inside all day long, that's the problem. And when we return to seasonal eating and we eat as many meals as we can outside, okay, especially during this menopausal adventure, which is for anybody basically 40 and above, you're in this menopausal adventure for the rest of your life, you will reduce inflammation, balance your hormones, and revive your natural metabolic wisdom. Too many people are fighting with fat loss. I see it all the time. Too many people with fat loss and weight loss instead of understanding their natural body rhythm. So here are a couple of questions for you. How can you bring more seasonal wisdom into your eating this week? Start with one small shift, maybe swapping that banana in January for a warming apple compote. So you'll be listening to this in August. Ooh, because my early bird special, everybody, is open now for my midlife reboot. So exciting, so exciting. Please check that out at vibrantlivingwithtanya.com/midlife reboot. And that information will be in the show notes. So it'll be August. So we will be moving more into apples and pears. And we will be moving away from berries are kind of still around, but just kind of observe what is at the farmer's market and what is local in your grocery store. So those are two little simple shifts you can make, everybody. And if you found today's episode eye-opening, be sure to share it with a friend, family member, somebody you love that you want to see not just survive in life, but thrive. And don't forget to follow my show. Hit that little follow button at the top, please. It helps other people find me and my beautiful messages, because we are wise women, and we are more wise when we're healthy and energetic and intuitive and following our heart, right? And sharing our wisdom, which is why I show up here with you guys. So when you hit that subscribe button, you're not going to miss a show. When you share this with a friend, you are pouring out your love. And if it's in your heart to give me a 5-star review with some comments, I would really appreciate that. Just remember, you're not broken. You're just out of rhythm. So let's get back in sync with nature, with your body, with your power. Thanks for listening to Menopause Made Easy with Tanya, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode.